Right everyone, WeaponCollector here. Right, going to do a knife build, so getting down to actually having a bit of time to make one for once. So what I'm going to be making is a little Tanto. Well, it won't be a little Tanto. So I don't know if you can see the design, I'll show you in a second. This is a piece of weed slasher. It's reasonably thin, but it's a good way to make your own knives if you don't have the capabilities to forge stuff. Harden and temper stuff, because this is a sort of hardened, a nice hardened and tempered steel. It'll bend and go back to its true straightness. It's reasonably hard. Yeah, it's good enough for making your own knives at home, as I said, without a forge. So it'll be a Tanto. It will have, I think this is micarta grips, and the reason they're going to be this shape is because it was quite a small bit, so I've had to cut it at an angle so that I can get two halves out of it that will fit. Otherwise it just wouldn't be big enough. And then I'm going to have a leather sheath, and it'll be sort of like a leather sleeve type sheath, you know, the ones that don't have a sort of belt loop that sticks up where the handle is. Right, so hopefully you'll be able to see this. It's a little bit scratched up now, but yeah, there you go. So there's the blade. The blade will be the whole thickness, and then when you come down here, the handle will be sort of inset, and then this end bit will be cut off. So the scales will come from about there to there. I'm going to drill the holes for the tang now. This is probably the most difficult part, because this is a sort of hardened tempered steel. You may need a drill bit that can drill through hardened steel. Right, so that's the drill holes done. That's probably one of the most difficult bits to do because of it being a hardened steel. I needed some kind of special drill bits that will do that. There are ways you can do this. If you're watching this thinking, oh, I can't do that, well, you could always just glue the scales on, or you could put slightly smaller scales on, glue them on, and then wrap them with some string. You know, lots of knives have string wrapped handles, and that would hold the scales on, and the scales would just bulk it out. Make sure you put smaller scales on there, because as soon as you put a wrap on, it does make the handle thicker than it would have been. But yeah, you could wrap this handle without the scales, I suppose. But yeah, there are ways to do it still. Don't worry if you can't do the drill holes. But yeah, I want to be able to pin those on, so yeah, I've got to do the holes. So the next one I'm going to do now is just refine the shape of this ever so slightly, and then I'm going to start grinding the bevels. Right, so that's the basic bevels done. I'm going to try and get this paint off now, which I'm just going to use a bit of nail polish remover, acetone. Usually works quite well. Just put it on it, leave it for a bit, and that should start coming off. You should be able to scrape it off. Right, so that's the blade sanded to the degree that I'm happy with. I'm going to leave it this sort of brushed finish. I quite like that. So I'm now going to glue on one side of the scales. So that'll be glued on. I will then turn it around, drill through, glue on the other side, drill back through, and then make sure you have the holes in the right place then. Right, so the handles are glued on. I've put these nails through, these are going to be the rivets. So I tidied up the ends so they looked a bit better. And now I can cut these off, put a washer on, and then peen it over. Sorry about that, I forgot to press bloody record. And I'd already fucking peened it over, so there you go. Right, the knife itself is about 90% done. There's a little bit of paint I need to take off, and I need to varnish the handle. I did make a slight mistake with the handle. I didn't realise what I was doing, and I was actually supposed to be bringing this down to the bottom. I cut it off, and then I looked at it and I thought, no, that's too long. So I cut it off again. It doesn't matter, the handle still works perfectly well anyway. But yeah, originally only part of that little bit was supposed to be sticking out. But yeah, just a mistake I made because I wasn't really concentrating. So there'll be a little bit of finishing to this and then sharpening at the end, but I'm going to work on the sheath now. So I've got all the pieces now, so that'll be that bit. The knife will go in like that. These are the spacer bits that go in between. There's a bit for the end there. This bit will be the belt buckle. This bit will go on here, sewn at the back, and then will act as a clasp to stop the knife coming out. So using one of these little hole punches, I'm going to punch 8 holes. You can use a awl to do this, you can drill them. Right, so that's that buckle bit on. I've drilled 8 holes in each side to stitch through. On the back I've cut a little groove for the stitching to sit flat. So that's the 2 bits sort of ready to stitch together now. So I've done the clasp. If you want to know how to do these, when you buy the tools they have instructions with them anyway, and it's quite simple. But I've done the clasp, the belt buckle. So now I just need to glue these spacer sections in, and then I can start marking the holes, drilling the holes and stitching it. Just going to let this dry for a bit, and I'm going to stamp my maker's mark on here. So this is the maker's mark I made myself, a knuckle duster with the WC logo in the middle. So I've got the sheath stuck together. Now I need to just go around with one of the marking chisels, I can't remember what they're called, but one of these. You don't need to use these if you don't want to, but you know, I'll use it because I've got it. Mark around where the stitching holes go, and then I'll drill through. Alright, it's fully stitched now. I've just sanded the top smooth. You can cut off the little edges if you've got an edger, or you can just sand it. And then you now wet this edge, don't have to be soaking wet, and then with a piece of wood, again can be anything, you burnish this edge. There's my other one, this one will be better for this. But you basically just rub the edge. This is more about friction than pressure. and you get a nice sort of smooth shiny edge as opposed to these rough edges. Finishing time now, so I'm undecided whether I'm going to do this black or brown. I might do it brown so it matches the handle. So that'll just be that. That'll be dyed, and then it'll be a dark brown. It'll be dyed and then waxed and polished, and then I'm going to spray lacquer the handle. So there you go, one reasonably small Tanto, small in regards to some of the things I make. Yeah, really happy with that, especially considering what it was made out of. You know, it was just a piece of a weed slasher, bit of offcut of micarta and some 3mm leather. The sheath's nice, I like the sheath as well. So what I'll do next, so that you can get a proper look at this, I'll do some HD pictures and you can see it sort of nice and close up then of the actual proper finished product, because obviously where I'm showing this, it's nearly 10 o'clock at night now. I've been finished for quite a while, I've just been letting the varnish coats dry. I hope you enjoyed it, I hope you found the video helpful. Don't forget to like, comment, definitely subscribe. If you do subscribe, hit the bell and all that so you get notifications. You'll see stuff a lot more then. And don't forget to watch the rest of the video, alright? Cheers for watching, everyone. See you later.